Dear Wendy, I know that this is short notice, and I'm sure that you might not notice this letter if you don't use your mailbox anymore. But I'm also sure that you might read this if you do check your mailbox. I'm an optimist anyway, so I'll just cut right to the chase. I love you. Always have and always will. Sorry for being so forward and blunt, but I had to get this off my chest. I've lived with this secret ever since 9th grade when we first met. Every day since, I've had to keep this in my heart for only me to understand and know. A secret crush that has filled my heart since our first conversation. The secret has been too much for me to handle lately. I do love you. No, more than love you. I adore you. More than anything in the world. More than my life. Listen to me, please, because I need to tell you everything. I hope that you'll understand what I've done for you. Like I said, my love for you began the day we met, the first day of 9th grade. Ah, 9th grade, the year I entered high school. The year I met you, dearest. Back then, I was a loner, a nobody, and I didn't have to admit that I didn't have any friends. That's expected for your freshman year, sure, but this was true for most of my early life. I never had any friends, no one to talk to, no one to hang out with. A frightened newborn. Unlike you, Wendy. You had lots of friends, and were popular amongst them, who were never as friendly to me than they were to you. You always expected it, right? Expected it. Everybody knew. The teachers all knew, my parents knew, you knew. Nobody came to my help. No teacher punished them. No parent would listen to me and intervene. They were your best friends, hung out with you, went with you to school dances and to the mall. They called me bad names, Wendy. Very bad names. They called me the G word. Threw my books down from my feeble hands, pushed me against the lockers. It wasn't your fault, though, 'cause I was a bit of a wimp when it came to asking for help. I could never blame you, Wendy, never. You didn't do anything wrong. You never willingly hurt me. You actually cared for me and helped me get through my hellish life. That's one of the reasons why I love you, you know. You were always there to help me, even when I was at home. You would sit on the edge of my bed and comfort me when they hurt me too bad. Remember those words you said? I'll always be there for you. I took those words to heart, and you kept your promise. You were always there for me. You comforted me when that jerk Steve wrote the G word on my locker in marker, when everyone pointed and laughed at me that morning in the hallway, and when Steve punched me in the face during the Valentine's Day dance. My nose bled a lot, but you helped me fix it. You told me never to cry. You also told me that you love me. I was so happy, and I loved you even more. Those words made my day, and I forgot about my bloody nose. I thought that you loved me, but the next day when I asked you to go on a date with me, you didn't answer. Then you said that you didn't like me. I was so confused, yet I noticed that your friends were sitting next to you. Then I realized it. They were the reason why you said no, Wendy. They were pressuring you, and I saw the looks they gave you. So mean. They laughed in my face, called me creep. I ran and hid in the restroom. I cried so much. But you comforted me in the stall. I thought that you were so kind to risk being served detention for sneaking into the restroom for me. I forgave you. It was when you and Steve first went out that I started to get angry at you, Wendy. I never thought you'd betray me like that. After all we've gone through, after all you've told me, you began to go out with him. Steve didn't love you. I could tell, Wendy. The way he looked at you was like a hungry animal. He only wanted that from you, Wendy. You are so kind, so lovely that I knew that you were too naive to see that. I saw past his exterior, Wendy, and I could see his true goals. I had to protect you from him, 'cause you're too pure, too fragile, too perfect to have that with him. He would hurt you, Wendy. He wouldn't stop if you cried out, and you would get pregnant. He would have left you if you told him. He would have left you broken and weak, and your life would have been ruined because of him. He would have ruined your future, our future. And so, I knew what I had to do. He had to go. So I planned, which sounds like a lot of work, but it's okay. You helped me. You told me that he had to go if we would be happy together. You gave me the knife that night and sent me off. I knew where he lived from watching him getting off the bus at his stop. I snuck into the night. I made it to his house and I crawled in through the window of his room. He didn't keep it locked, which made my job a lot easier. I made no noise, but it wasn't easy. He kept stuff on the ground, and I was afraid that the slightest noise would wake him. But he was a heavy sleeper, which also made my job a lot easier. He was sleeping, didn't even notice me as I watched him. You were there with me. You got out the knife for me, and you whispered in my ear. You told me to get rid of the competition, Wendy. So I did. I stabbed him 57 times, all of them in the heart. You might say that I broke it, dear. He opened his mouth to scream, but I covered his mouth with my hand. His blood was so gross. It was sticky and warm, and it covered my clothes. He struggled, sure. But I got him in the end, Wendy. Just like you said. Don't worry about fingerprints, because I wore leather gloves. I got rid of my clothes, no evidence. You told me how good of a boyfriend I was, and it made me happy. I saw how hurt you were when you learned about what I did from the news the next day at school. I couldn't help smiling. Don't think that I'm insane, Wendy, 'cause I'm not. I love you, Wendy. You know that. You love me too. I know that as well. I'm not crazy. I just love you so much. And I just want you to know that. I did it for us, Wendy. It had to be done. You said so yourself. Just understand that you told me to do it, Wendy. I know you love me. You've said it yourself. Remember? Remember? Oh, how I love you, Wendy. I love you. 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 I've left a gift for you underneath your pillow, Wendy. Do you see it? Isn't the knife a beautiful red? I used it on him. Now, I'm gonna visit you tonight, just like we planned, Wendy. Don't worry about your parents, 'cause I'll deal with them. Just like we planned. I love you, Wendy. We'll be together forever. Love, your secret admirer.